Hi, and welcome to the third video in the Neon Sanctum combat tutorials. So in this episode, having gone over the turn order, I'm going to show you how you can play cards in both the attack or defense phase. To do that, I'm going to use Diana here, who's one of our player characters, and we can see her hand of cards below us. So if we look at Diana in the turn order, we can see that she has 6 action points to spend. She's currently not sustaining anything, so she's got 6 action points and she hasn't had to pay anything to sustain. So now she can take an attack phase, a defense phase, a movement phase, and any number of mini phases. So we're going to go over the attack and defense phase. So we have Diana here, and there's an enemy in front of her, the gunman. So Diana has decided that she would like to play quick shot to attack the enemy. So we place this in front of her. The card is a level 1 card, which we see in the top left, so to play it will cost 1 action point. So we're now down to 5 action points. The second icon is the red fist, and that shows that this is an attack card and we'll use up our attack phase. So to use the card, from that point onwards we look at the fields in the main area of the card. And the first one says required item shooting. So this means to use this card we're going to need a gun to use along with it. Fortunately, Diana has the Pugio here, which I'll place along the card and play in front of her. We'll make it a bit bigger. So that card is, as we can see here in Pugio 17, it says pistol, shooting, gun. So that is an item shooting. Next thing is it requires 1 target, which is 1 enemy. So 1 enemy would be the gunman, but to check that the target is valid, we need to check range. And that's shown in the third icon in the top left there, which in this case is a crosshair, and that crosshair is an icon that means that you should refer to the item that you're using. So we refer to the item card, and in the top left there's a crosshair symbol there with an 8 in, and that means you can shoot anyone within 8 squares, which is effectively 40 feet. The gunman is easily within that distance, so we're okay to select him as a target. Next is the difficulty. So this will either be a number, it will be the word automatic when you don't have to roll, or, in this case, it will be the defense symbol -1. And this means we refer to the gunman's defense, which is shown in the bottom right, the green symbol with a shield, and it's 12. So basically we need to hit 12 -1 would be 11. So that means using this card we need to roll our dice, and if we get an 11 or higher, we succeed. So let's roll some dice. We got an 8 and a 5, so we have successfully hit. So we can check the effect field, and that says tick damage. So again, this means you have to refer to the item being used. Because we have a level 1 card, we can refer to the level 1 line of stats as shown on the card, and if we look at the tick field it says 3 damage. So performing this action, Diana would do 3 damage to the gunman. We'll go over how damage works in a later video. So there's one field left here which is special, and that says +1 AP, and that means the 1 action point we use to spend this card actually comes right back. Quick shot is a special card that is basically free to use. So that's our attack phase done. We place the card, leave the skill card in front of us because we're going to place that into cooldown later. We return the Pugio to our hand, and we can look at performing other phases. So next up we'll do a defense action, and Diana wants to use this dodge card here. So we perform it in exactly the same way. We play it in front of us. It's a level 1 card, which means we'll pay 1 AP, so we're again down to 5 AP. The second icon shows it's a defense phase, and we're using our defense. And so the target is ourself, so that's fine. The range icon shows hand, and that means either yourself or anyone adjacent. In this case, the target has to be ourself. The difficulty is automatic, so you don't have to roll any dice. And the effect is card is locked. So this is a special type of card, and when cards are locked, we turn them sideways, and that makes these boxes at the bottom easier to read. So there's 2 boxes, sustain and unlock. So the sustain box tells us what happens whilst this card's locked, and that's +1 defense versus ranged attacks. So any attacks against Diana that are ranged from now on will have to score 1 point higher. The unlock box shows us how we can unlock the card, or how the card can be unlocked by other people. In this case, it can be unlocked at any time as a mini action by the player themselves. It can only ever be unlocked by anyone, by a target. So in this case, it can only be unlocked by ourselves. When it comes to our next turn, we would start our turn, and the first thing we do is decide whether we want to sustain this card. And to do that, we see that the sustain has a cost of 1 in the green box, so we would have to pay 1 AP at the very beginning of our turn to keep this effect ongoing. So the effect carries on in between turns and during future turns as long as we pay that cost. So at the start of every turn we have to decide whether our locked cards are still worthwhile. And that's it. That's how you play attack or defense cards. I'll very quickly go over utility cards as they... Oh, I haven't got one here. So if we look at one of the cards over here, for example this Apply Stitches card, we will see that it has an icon which is both a defense and an attack symbol. And that means that utility cards work exactly in the same way, but can be used in either phase. So for example, in one turn you could play 1 attack and a utility, a defense and a utility, or even 2 utility cards. So that ends this video on playing cards. The next video we'll talk about movement and mini phases, and then we'll move on to damage. Thanks very much.